apparently I'm an idiot. I know, that comes as no surprise to any of you. So I bought my son a new watch for Christmas, the W-800H. That's a great watch, and I made a video about it, and a lot of people had some great feedback in the comment section. But one of those comments kind of caught my attention. It went like this: "Hey dummy, don't you know there's a bigger version of the F91W?" Okay, maybe they didn't say it like that, but I sure felt like an idiot when I read it. Apparently there is. There is a larger version of the F91W, and I just happen to have it here today. This is the Casio W-217H-1A VCF. Yeah, I really can't believe it that there is actually a larger version of the F91W. Here they are side by side, and you can see they are so similar except for the size. The F91W is about 34.6 millimeters across, whereas the 217H is 39.1 millimeters across. The F91W has a lug-to-lug of about 37.2, and the 217H has about a 43 millimeter lug-to-lug. Now flipping them over, it looks like the F91W has an 18 millimeter lug width. Of course, it tapers outward and then inward again on the rubber strap that is supplied. And I really don't think that you would be replacing this strap, except with an OEM strap or something custom made for this. Now the 217H is also 18 millimeters, but it looks like you could probably swap this out pretty easily for something else if you wanted to. You might even be able to shoehorn a NATO on there, but it'd have to be pretty thin. And curved spring bars would help. The F91W is 8.2 millimeters thick, and the 217H is 10.7 millimeters thick. I have to say, it wears really well on the wrist, and I don't notice the extra thickness that much at all. There's also not much taper to the straps, and the strap on the larger version is about 30 millimeters longer in total. Both of them have a screwed down case back. Both of them, I believe, are 50 meters water resistant. Now the data on the main screen looks pretty much the same, except on the larger version, it's a little larger and easier to read. On the second screen, they both have an alarm. On the third screen, they both have a stopwatch. And when you hit the button a fourth time, you can change the time. And a fifth time brings you back to the home screen. Now, one key difference with these, and I really like this difference, with the F91W, it's the upper left button that turns on the light. And the bottom right button switches it to 24-hour. That's reversed on the larger version. On the larger version, the 24-hour button's on the top left, and the light is the only button on the right, which makes it just seem more intuitive. Now, speaking of the light is significantly improved on the W217H. It's just night and day. It's so much better than on the F91W. I think for the light alone, it's worth the upgrade. The text on the dial is very similar. Starting from the bottom, they both say water resist. The 217H has 50 meters printed there, whereas the F91W just says water rating. There's a little bit more clutter, I think, on the F91W. The next level up, it says mode, alarm, on, off, 24-hour. On the other one, you get that big illuminator designation. That's that fantastic light we're talking about. And it points to the left with the mode and the right to the light. Casio is printed nicely on both versions, and instead of saying F91W, the 217H simply says alarm. I do love the use of that blue and gold, just a classic, iconic combo for these watches. Another difference is that the bezel is just a little bit more defined on the larger version. Obviously, there's more room to work with, so it's a little thicker, and the lines just seem a little sharper, but that's a good thing. On the wrist, they both wear very comfortably. I think more or less comfortable depending upon your wrist size. Personally, I have a hard time even getting the F91W on my wrist, so I don't find it that comfortable, but this one I get a generous amount of tuck. Even wearing this comfortably on my right wrist, which is somewhere between 8.5 and 9 inches, I have 2 more holes left and plenty of tuck. So I don't know what to tell you. I did not know this existed. I feel like a bit of an idiot. This is a great watch. So is the F91W, don't get me wrong, but I don't understand why, if this one exists, unless you really like the smaller version, or you have a real desire to get back to your nostalgic roots from the 90s, I don't know why anyone would buy the F91W over the 217H. I just don't get it. I mean, yeah, this one's $5 more. This is 30 Canadian. This is 25 Canadian on Amazon.ca. What's $5 between friends? But hey, I could be completely bonkers. Maybe there's just something about the smaller version that appeals to so many people. I mean, after all, it has sold so many watches. It's selling almost every other watch, I think, on Amazon. So why don't you tell me what you think? Have you tried out the F91W or its larger version? Or maybe over these two, you'd actually prefer the W800H. I think, gun to my head, I prefer the W800H. It's got 100 meters of water resistance. It just, I don't know, suits me a little bit better. But I really do like all three of these models, proving once again that Casio is the GOAT when it comes to watchmaking, especially affordable digital watchmaking. But you know what, at the end of the day, I think I'm going to stick with this, my full metal G-Shock. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day.